Hello everyone and welcome back to Very Cold Lasagna, your filthy casual place for all the filthy casual takes on the world of sports. I am DylanLasagna and welcome back to another weekly recap, the final weekly recap, at least the regular season wise, of the 2022 NFL regular season. And what are we doing for this final weekly regular season recap? Well, it's week 18. That means it's the regular season finale of the NFL season. And man, can't believe it. It's the end. And it's just weird. It really is weird that it's come so fast and it really is about to hit you, especially for the teams that didn't make the dance. Your season is essentially over. And sure, you get extra football in the next month or so, but if you're essentially a fan of one team, and you're not going to watch or care about the playoffs, then your season's essentially done. Your season is essentially done. Benito, done after that. So it's like, damn, what do you watch now? And that was kind of the situation I was in when I came home on a Monday. I was like, what do I watch now? I mean, there's the college football national championship game, but I don't really care so much about college football. And then when I did turn on the national title game, it was like 50 plus point blowout by Georgia and TCU. Georgia was like running the scoreboard up on TCU. It was like, what the hell happened here? what happened to TCU? Like my word. So all I can say though is at least, one thing's for certain. The national title game will at least do better in the ratings, and at least we'll put on a somewhat more entertaining product than, Monday Night Raw, WWE will ever provide on Mondays, and obviously all of professional wrestling. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the final week of the NFL regular season, week 18. And yeah, some things happened that shook up the playoff picture, and obviously the playoff picture is now set. So let's get into what exactly happened in week 18 that's finally solidified the playoff picture that is to come. Starting with the Saturday doubleheader that kicked off in Las Vegas as Patrick Mahomes, well, he didn't exactly have a spectacular performance again, but his supporting cast helped him out as they rendered Jared Stidham and the Raiders useless as the Chiefs literally waltzed and rung around the rosy into the AFC's top seed and yet another first round bye as they beat the Raiders 31-13 with ease to end their regular season. Meanwhile, in the nightcap, Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars had some issues against a resilient Tennessee defense, but the Jaguars' defense of their own became all elite. Got a big break as Rayshon Jenkins got a strip sack on Josh Dobbs. And not the Bills, Josh Allen, but the Jaguars, Josh Allen, picked it up for a scoop and score, and that lifted the Jaguars up to the AFC South Division title, sponsored by All Elite Wrestling, as the Jaguars, the All Elite Jaguars, defeated the Tennessee Titans 20-16. I'm like, damn, we really thought, we all really thought that we're going to get the lame-ass Titans at 8-9 in the playoffs, who are just going to end up getting smashed by some 5 seed. But now, we're actually may get an interesting matchup with the Jaguars. So, more on that in just a bit. Going to the Sunday slate of games, in the early morning portion, the Tampa Bay starters, including Tom Brady, played in the first half, and they put up a 17-10 lead over the Atlanta Falcons. But Tom Bowles decided to peel back because essentially this was a meaningless game for the Tampa Bay Bucks. They were already in the number 4 seed, and there was no reason to play. And that allowed Desmond Ridder and the Falcons to fly back and pounce on the Bucks' backup defense and win a game 30-17. So the Bucks now own a losing record going into the postseason against the number 5 seed, which we'll get into also in just a bit. The Patriots defense, they might have created 3 turnovers which paved the way for Mac Jones and, yes, his offense, which was mainly Devontae Parker on the day, to keep it close with the Buffalo Bills going to halftime. But second big kickoff return, second kickoff return by backup running back Nyheim Hines ignited Josh Allen and the Bills to put away the Patriots for good and eliminate them from playoff contention, 35-23. And then it opened the door for either the Dolphins or the Steelers to clinch that final playoff spot, as well as giving Buffalo the number 2 seed in the AFC. Despite a slightly off day from their offense, the Bengals defense did its job against a Ravens team that was basically just trotting out like backups because, well, they're facing each other anyway in the first round of the playoffs, because Cincinnati did exactly what it did to set up a 3-match against the Ravens, beating them 27-16. Led by Alexander Madison's 2 touchdowns, Minnesota, with both its starters and its backups, picked apart Nathan, the Peterman, and the Care Bears, who wound up being the big winners anyway, despite losing 29-14. That's because of the next game we're going to talk about right now, because the Houston Texans forgot exactly what was on the line here as they jumped out to a 17-7 halftime lead. But then, when they got to the fourth quarter, they realized they needed to absolutely suck again. They allowed Jeff Saturday's Colts to catch up, outsuck them, take the lead, and then they forgot again what was on the line. They put together a 3-minute drive, capped off with Davis Mills connecting with Jordan Atkins for a touchdown and for a 2-point conversion with less than a minute remaining to take the lead. And then they stopped the Colts and held them off for such an unnecessary win, 32-31. What happened here? They got a meaningless 3rd win of the season. They dropped down to the 2nd overall pick. They gave the Bears, the number 1 overall pick. The Texans, man. The Texans fucked up the tank. They gave away the tank. The open door to a quarterback, or to the number 1 overall pick, just slammed shut on them because of their stupidity. But it's actually something else. But we'll get to that in a bit. And offensively, in that battle between Joe Flacco and Skylar Thompson, yes, a battle to determine Miami's playoff hopes. And it came down to Joe Flacco and Skylar Thompson. It actually went down to the wire, but it was more so the defense. And yeah, this was a very bad matchup. But a key horse collar tackle penalty by the Jets allowed Miami's Jason Saunders, their kicker, to kick a go-ahead field goal to beat the Jets, and it punched their postseason ticket thanks to the Patriots losing big to the Bills. The Dolphins beat the Jets 11-6. So for the Carolina Panthers, Eddie Pinheiro got some dinero as he kicked a game-winning field goal to end Carolina's season on a positive yet boring note over the Saints, 10-7. The Steelers got another effective performance from Kenny Pickett, the running game, George Pickens, and their defense to shut down Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Skid Marks, a.k.a. the Browns. But unfortunately, while they got one more winning season for Mike Tomlin, it just wasn't enough to keep their very slim playoff hopes alive. As while the Patriots lost to the Bills, the Dolphins, as I mentioned, their late field goal ended Pittsburgh's season, but they still beat the Browns 28-14. The late afternoon action, it was all about whether or not Philadelphia could clinch the number 1 seed, or the 49ers could overtake them, or maybe even the Dallas Cowboys could swoop in and take it for themselves. That was what it was all about in the late afternoon portion. Starting things off, the Philadelphia Eagles had Jalen Hurts return to action. He was getting pressured all day. Kind of an underwhelming return, but the Eagles defense and kicker Jake Elliott helped him out and held off a late rally from Giants backups. Yes, they were resting Dan Jones. They were resting Saquon Barkley and a bunch of other starters, and they still managed to cut it close. But despite that, the Eagles clinched the NFC East and the NFC's top seed 22-16 by beating the Giants. Despite a chance to clinch the NFC East, steal away the number 1 seed by winning, and the Eagles losing, the Cowboys played all their starters. They were going to go in, smash the Washington Commanders, but then they forgot there was a game. They no-showed this game in the nation's capital. They completely allowed everyone on Washington to take command of Dallas in dominating fashion. The Commanders absolutely hammered the Cowboys 26-6. Like, holy shit. How do you let that happen? Like, on the eve of the playoffs. The hell? Anyway, Jason Myers' doinked kick, potential game winner, by the way, led to an extra period of Seattle clinging to its playoff lives. But safety Quandre Diggs made the save of the day as he intercepted Baker Mayfield's long bomb pass, and Myers would later redeem himself with a real game winner to end overtime and save Seattle's playoff hopes just for a little bit, as Seattle beat the Rams and while it eliminated the Detroit Lions, and now had to hope that Detroit would spoil the hopes of the Packers later in the night. Now, as I mentioned in my picks portion of Week 18, it all depended on what Dan Campbell wanted to do. So Seattle had to wait what the Lions wanted to do. The Denver Broncos offense and Russell Wilson put on an efficient yet kind of what-if performance against the Chargers, who might be kicking themselves in the foot with its decision to play its starters for a large portion of a meaningless game, as Denver beat the Chargers 31-28. The 49ers took advantage of 3 straight turnovers from David Blau in the third quarter, with 3 scoring drives to put the game away, rest their starters, and get the NFC's number 2 seed in a scraping of whatever was left of the Arizona Redbirds, 38-13. Then in the final game of Week 18, Sunday Night Football, Detroit's last-ranked defense, led by Aiden Hutchinson, made Aaron Rodgers' life a living hell. Made 2 key turnovers, both on Aaron Jones and on Aaron Rodgers when it mattered most, as Jamal Williams, former Packer, led the way on offense with 2 touchdowns, as the Lions led the way, eliminated the Green Bay Packers, who had the easiest chance to clinch a playoff spot on the very last game, were eliminated, and lifted the Seahawks into a 3-match, well, with the 49ers, as the Lions beat the Packers 20-16. Like, wow. That was stunning. That's absolutely stunning. The Lions just basically had nothing to lose and absolutely spoiled the Packers' playoff hopes. Like, damn, what a statement there. So anyway, that was your recap of Week 18, the final week of the regular season, and hence brings my final regular season winners and losers. So as for my winners, you gotta absolutely give some love to the Detroit Lions. I mean, as I said before, you get eliminated less than an hour before kickoff because Seattle won in overtime, but Dan Campbell was like, fuck it, we're gonna go out there and whoop some ass. And that's exactly what he did. I mean, sure, the score was close, but he brought the heat on Aaron Rodgers, despite the Packers' offensive line trying to be its strongest all game long. But the pass rush, led by Aiden Hutchinson, made life very difficult for Rodgers in that game, and it led to Rodgers like just yeeting it a lot of the time, especially on that last interception, on that final interception of the game, which was basically the Packers' last gasp, and they never got the ball back. But it was Dan Campbell's decision to go for it on 4th down and trusting Jared Goff. Jared Goff, who hasn't been consistent in the first half of the season, and then kind of slowly chugged along in the second half, and he actually converted it. Very ballsy for Dan Campbell to risk it all. And what if he didn't score? But Jared Goff actually converted, paid handsomely. So, man, the Lions may not have made the playoffs, and sort of brings like what if they did, because it would have been very interesting. But they definitely made a case. of them redesigning themselves, looking to get better in the offseason, and running it back, becoming even better than ever. And this is a good statement win to end their 2022 to build onto 2023 for next season. The Buffalo Bills, obviously, going to this game, it was going to be a very emotional game for them with their safety, DeMar Hamlin, still trying to fight for his life. It was very good to hear that he is awake, alive, and well, and especially with the news that he's out of the hospital now. And it took a while for them. It absolutely took a while for them to get the wheels going against a strong Patriots defense. But the second kickoff return from Nyheim Hines really kicked it into gear. They never looked back. And once they scored that other touchdown from Josh Allen, the Bills defense finally woke up. They got constant pressure on Mac Jones for 2 turnovers to finally shut down New England's offense for good and expose the flaws from Mac Jones and the lack of an offensive coordinator on the Patriots. So it may not have been the cleanest performance from the Bills, but they eventually found a way to put away the Patriots, run away with the game, and put on a kind of inspiring performance for their fans to end the regular season, going to their playoff game. And then, of course, the Chicago Bears, the biggest winners of the week by losing, by doing what they needed to do to get the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Obviously, it could have gone different ways. It could have gone a different way had the Texans done their assignment, but no. The Bears actually knew the assignment they needed to do. Lie down like Care Bears and hope and pray their old friend, yes, their old friend, and Lovie Smith would do them a favor. And so he did. He fucked over the Houston Texans and gifted the Care Bears the number 1 overall pick in the 2023 draft. Why did he do that? We're actually going to get that in just a second, because the Bears football may have already had their quarterback at Justin Fields, but they hold all the cards now. They hold the cards on potentially other QB needy teams that might want to trade up for that number 1 pick. Give them the picks that they may need, they may want this coming off season to build around Justin Fields. Finally, that stupid, competent front office. All thanks to the Texans' stupidity. Now, as for the losers for this week, the Dallas Cowboys. Like, my lord, man. I know it was a very small chance you could have won the NFC East. There's a very small chance you could have gotten the NFC's top seed, and let alone the NFC's 2 seed. But once again, this is just the common case of when the pressure is at its somewhat highest and the stakes are there, the Dallas Cowboys found a way again to completely stake it up a joint. What does Stephen A. Smith always tell Cowboys fans? At some point in time, what can go wrong will go wrong. And that's exactly what happened in Week 18 against a Washington Commanders team that was playing its rookie quarterback that hasn't played all season in Sam Howell. Yeah, Sam Howell. Yeah, howling like a wolf. You made Sam Howell howl like the wolf because you made him look pretty damn decent on Sunday with no resistance. And offensively, Dak Prescott was bad, like really bad in the pocket. He had a hard time finding his receivers, and he especially couldn't take care of the football. Him throwing an wide open dropped interception, and then for him to do it again, this time it was an actual interception, and then it became a pick 6. That was just funny. That was just really funny. So, like, damn. Like, these Cowboys are, like, not going in with any positive momentum whatsoever against I know it's the Bucs. I mean, the Bucs are just as offensively inept as the Cowboys are right now. But it's just like, damn. They're not going into this game, like, with any positive momentum. But then again, this is the Cowboys that everyone is accustomed to, right? Right? And then I look at the LA Chargers, because regardless of what the result was going to be for the Ravens game, head coach Brandon Staley should have known better. Like, he should have known better than to mess with his starters in an essentially meaningless game. Like, I get it. He wants to play starters in an essentially meaningless game. He wants to have them ready for a playoff game. Like, it would have made sense to play them for like a quarter or a half, but not for like most of the game, because there was literally nothing to play for. Like, especially when you see his post-game comments of, well, we want to play well and then play it safe for next week. It's like, you got nothing to play for, my guy. It's either you play the Jaguars or you play the Bengals. It's like, were you really gonna try to beat them anyway? So anyway, they should have done what Todd Bowles was gonna do and the Bucs were gonna do. Play one half and then rest Justin Herbert and your starters. Because look what happened now. Mike Williams carted off with a back injury. I mean, sure, it's back spasms. It turned out to be back spasms, but do you know if he's going to be ready to go? And then Joey Bosa and Kenneth Murray also got banged up. So, not pleased. Not pleased with the decision to play his starters for most of the game. Not pleased with it. And then, of course, the Houston Texans. Not because they're in the playoffs or anything, because, well, they're beyond terrible. Because, well, they're just so inept. They are so stupid. Like, of course, they found the absolute worst game to play someone that was just as bad as them, because they couldn't win by losing. I mean, it's either that or, like I said before, now former head coach Lovie Smith decided to give owner Cal McNair and general manager Nick Caserio one last big F you because he knew he was going to get fired. Either he knew he was going to get fired, or Cal McNair and general manager Nick Caserio were going to strike first. So he decided to give one last parting gift by going for the win in the final 3 minutes. So it's like, you know what? If I want to stay here, but if I know you're going to fire me, I'm going to say, you know what? F you. I'm going to cost you guys the number 1 overall pick by winning. So now, not only will the Texans have to have the competency to find a good head coach, but also hope that the Chicago Bears pick the guy that they want at number 1 that's not a quarterback, as well as not trade away the number 1 overall pick to a team that needs a quarterback. So congratulations, Texans. Congratulations, Cal McNair. Congratulations, Nick Caserio. You completely fucked up your tank. All thanks to your stupidity of not wanting to completely, purposely lose the last game of the regular season. Should have listened to Lovie Smith. I mean, it was that simple. It was that simple. So those were your final winners and losers of the 2022 regular season. Speaking of the regular season, as we begin our final hurry-up discussion of the week for Week 18 and for the regular season, let's talk about this regular season. Let's debrief it down a bit. Because, to be honest with you, it's kind of middling. At least a lot of it was. The quality of play was just not a lot. Not a lot of it was good. Especially with a lot of the AFC contenders that made big splashes in the offseason. They turned out to be either massive disappointments or not living up to the hype. Some of the playoff contenders were just, I mean, do I really need to spell it out? Denver was the biggest disappointment, not just in the AFC, but the entire NFL. They were the massive biggest disappointment this season. And then the NFC is just generally weak. And the Packers, the Bucs were outright bad, and the Rams didn't even make it to the dance. They weren't even coming close to meeting expectations this year. I guess that's just what happens when you buy your way to a Super Bowl title, and luck was on your side thanks to Jaquaski Pop-Tart dropping the interception. So anyway, at least the month of December brought some excitement into it, and most certainly the playoffs will certainly bring some excitement into it. And we at least half of the playoff field consists of teams that didn't make it to the dance last year, and you get some first-time quarterbacks like Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, and Daniel Jones. So there's definitely going to be some interesting storylines going into the playoffs. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, at least the last fourth of this regular season, and obviously the playoff, it was entertaining to watch, and obviously the playoffs will be entertaining to watch. So I guess we should all remember to enjoy this final month of the overall NFL season, because we as fans, we're definitely going to miss it when the Super Bowl is over, because after the Super Bowl is done, it's like, fuck, what do I watch? That's pretty much what I said at the beginning. It's like, fuck, what do we watch now? Now that that football is over. It's like, I don't like basketball. I don't like baseball. I don't like hockey. I don't like pro wrestling. It's like, what do we watch now? Maybe we just go watch Family Feud for 7 months. So, yeah, let's all enjoy it this final month of the NFL season. Enjoy the playoffs. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Even if you hate these teams in it, let's kind of enjoy it. So anyway, this is your final NFL 2022 regular season recap. I know it's kind of long, but I hope you were around to stay around with it. Really enjoyed doing these weekly recaps and previews with you. Obviously, when we do playoff coverage, you'll be in for a surprise when we go back to the format we do for it. So anyway, this is DylanLasagna of Very Cold Lasagna, and keep that lasagna very cold in the fridge with your takes on the world of sports. And until next time, peace out.